All right, man, let's get into it. Involuntary manslaughter for Alec Baldwin. He shot somebody in full view of dozens of people.
Such a waste of the taxpayers' money in Santa Fe.
Boy.
Yeah, dude. The civil cases this is a great civil case. Fantastic civil case that is, by the way, now settled. Yeah.
Which is weird, by the way. We'll get to that in a minute.
Well, we can talk about that. We can talk about it's your show.
I mean,
this is a district attorney groping at PR and star status by prosecuting someone for, by the way, so we're clear, involuntary manslaughter, not a specific intent crime. We can all agree, we're going to disagree about a lot on this one. We can all agree that Alec Baldwin did not want to shoot this person. Did not intend.
Baldwin pointed a gun and pulled the trigger.
It's not a specific intent crime. He didn't want to shoot him. He didn't intend to shoot him. Gross negligence is the standard here. Involuntary manslaughter, it's an intentless crime, okay? Mm-hmm. So, why are we prosecuting this guy for this? Why are citizens around the country saying, oh, we should put Alec Baldwin in jail? If you don't like Alec Baldwin because he's a flaming liberal, that's one thing.
It's not his politics, it's his temperament.
Well, he's also got some temperament issues.
So that plays into it, and we can get to that as well. But he pointed a gun and pulled the trigger.
Okay, it's a Hollywood set. He's filming a movie, and a master armorer whose job, by the way, didn't that master armorer plead guilty already?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, master armorer hands you a gun. You're not a gun expert. Hands you a gun and says, good to go.
Stop right there. So now everyone can use this defense anywhere. It's a Hollywood set, yes, but it's also still a very real gun. It's not like they were using rubber guns.
I have talked to you. I've talked to you about this point several times in the last few months about the way the society is moving. Our national society is moving towards this fervor. I seldom get to use that word. Fervor.
Yeah.
To go after people for
schism earlier.
That's okay. To go after people for gross negligent crimes. We've talked about the law enforcement guy.
Stop being grossly negligent and crimes wouldn't happen.
But it's just because you're grossly negligent doesn't mean it's...
Pay attention to what you're doing. You go through the steps, and you can avoid this sort of thing.
Or the expert master armorer hands you the firearm, and you assume it's safe.
Or it's a movie. Maybe don't use a real gun.
Or
you got to have the authenticity. Shut up. CGI it.
That's the bigger issue for me. If I were prosecuting this, I'm like, why is there a real gun? Why are they using real guns?
Yeah, damn good question.
Like,
for the authenticity.
In fairness, in 2023, why are we still using firearms in movies? Like real ones. And by that I mean, you're joking, you're being tongue-in-cheek, but we could CGI it.
So you could CGI it. You could also 3D print something that looks exactly like the real thing, but doesn't have an actual triggering mechanism within it. You can build a gun that is a 100% replica.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have an actual triggering mechanism, and you insert the sound that goes along with it.
So to convict him, look.
But for the sake of the art. Alec Baldwin's got to have a real gun for the art.
So I think they're going to, to use your phrase, hyperbole. All hyperbole aside, I love this case because both sides are absolutely right. I could defend or prosecute this guy. I do think he's going to get acquitted. I do think it's a waste of prosecution, but I can at least see where they're coming from, the trajectory, right?
Yeah.
And I think the problem's going to be is reasonable doubt's going to exist with the human beings, because like this is like an either or kind of situation, right? This is not did the person murder the person element of identity. You know, did they have the specific... This is not that. It's either you believe that he acted grossly negligent, or you believe, well, yeah, he messed up, but it wasn't grossly negligent because of these other factors, like the armorer handing him the gun, the master armorer handing the gun, the person whose sole job, the reason I keep emphasizing this, the person whose sole job is to make sure the gun is safe or not. And yeah, he's the executive producer. I
understand that, but okay, there's no other scenario in the world where just because one person is prosecuted, two people can't be prosecuted.
Absolutely. And two people were prosecuted. And what we don't know, this is the beauty. What we don't know is, was Alec Baldwin offered the same deal that this other guy was offered?
Ooh, that's a good question.
And did he say, eat rocks?
Yeah.
And now they're prosecuting.
Well, I think you kick rocks.
Kick rocks, yes.
Yeah. So here's
Was this guy offered a deal so that he could cooperate against Alec Baldwin? We don't know that yet.
Okay. No, we don't know that yet.
What we do know is, what we've learned from this case is, we make the decision before hearing any of the facts in the court of law. People have already made their decision, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be awfully tough to get a jury on this one.
I understand that, too.
Santa Fe, by the way, is a beautiful place.
Never been.
Oh, dude, Santa Fe is gorgeous. If you ever could move to one city, Santa Fe would be the place. That being said.
Brought to you by Visit Baton Rouge. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, does it help or hurt Alec Baldwin that he's already lied on national television about this?
Well, first of all, if Franz Borgert was representing him, he'd keep his mouth shut.
Yeah, you don't go talk to George Stephanopoulos. I know you seek the limelight.
Nobody talks. Everybody walks.
He told George Stephanopoulos he never pulled the trigger. Your Honor, he's got a track record of lying. You can't tell me he didn't mean to do this. He already said he didn't pull the trigger. Then how'd the bullet come out the gun?
So here's the question. And this is the thing I struggle with when I'm representing human beings, when I'm prosecuting human beings.
You're only going to prosecute human beings.
Is he lying, or does he really believe? Because sometimes we really believe stuff is true when it's not. Have you, Alondra, Brian, ever absolutely believed something happened, and then on further analysis, you're like, yeah, I was wrong on that. That didn't happen. I absolutely believe this guy thinks he didn't pull the trigger.
Really?
I think Alex, here's my defense. Ready? Alec Baldwin absolutely did not want this guy to die, and the trauma of this guy getting shot, or girl, whatever, getting shot.
He's just whatever, the dead victim.
The trauma of this woman getting shot was probably such the way he's processing it is saying, I didn't pull the trigger.
Right.
Absolutely pulled the trigger. It's not fact in dispute, right? He absolutely pulled the trigger.
Then why answer the question? You can do the interview and still not answer the question.
Because people accused of crimes that believe they're innocent cannot keep their mouth shut.
Well,
that's a truth.
Okay, people with Alec Baldwin's bank account should be able to hire attorneys to train them before they go on with George Stephanopoulos. Also,
why George Stephanopoulos too?
I don't know.
You think they're Democrat buddies? Probably.
I don't know. Here's another problem, and this is about Alec Baldwin running his mouth in the aftermath as well, is the immediate interrogation with police, where he said other things that didn't match up with reality.
Alec Baldwin is a little crazy. Let's be honest. You ever watch the movie Malice, where he goes, I am God? Ever watch the movie where he was like, always be closing? He's a great actor.
That was Glengarry Glen Ross, and that was a long time ago.
Yeah. Crazy. He's crazy.
Okay.
He says crazy stuff. He does crazy things.
Here's the thing, though. You ever seen The Departed? He was the worst actor in that movie.
And he still wasn't horrible.
No. Looked like he was coked up the whole time, too. Character, not him. His character, sorry. It's part of the movie. And that's another part of this that I don't know if we're going to be able to get into. Does his profession, someone who is trained to make you believe something that is not real, does his profession play into his perception within the courtroom?
Yes.
In front of a jury?
Yes. You take the defendant as he lies. It's like golf.
Hey, lies is the appropriate word there. He reads scripts for a living.
So here's the thing. I don't think he testifies at trial.
Okay.
I don't think he has to testify at trial.
I agree with this.
He won't. Now, Alec Baldwin will absolutely want to testify at trial. Dude, you know how hard it's going to be to keep someone like Alec Baldwin off the stand? As a defense attorney, for the viewers, they may not know this, the only decision I don't get to make in defending my client is the client makes the decision on whether or not they testify or don't testify. I can tell Alec Baldwin, hey, dude, don't testify.
Yeah.
But he ultimately gets to make the last decision on that. Do you know how hard it's going to be to keep Alec Baldwin off the stand?
It's going to be virtually impossible.
Because he doesn't believe he did anything wrong. And people that don't believe they did anything wrong cannot keep their mouth shut.
Right. Also,
they want to explain away how they're innocent and that they did anything wrong, even though he's presumed innocent, even though he could have said, I'm not going to make any statements about this. I don't think it's appropriate. Because optically, if he would have kept his mouth shut, people would say, what? Oh, he's not saying anything. You know what that must mean.
What? See, I think the opposite here.
Our society, if you keep your mouth shut, the presumption is that you did something wrong.
Yeah,
because the presumption is an innocent person will freely and voluntarily talk. Even though we know that by freely and voluntarily talk, you can be innocent and say stupid stuff and shoot yourself in the foot. No pun intended.
No pun intended. All right, so we got more to cover on this one. Can you stick around for the last segment of this? Okay. So we're going to cover more of this in just a minute. I want to look at that master armorer as well, and the protocols that go with it. It's just it. And are there going to be ramifications outside of this one case because of this one case? If Alec Baldwin can just walk after pointing a gun and shooting it, pointing a gun, pulling the trigger, and someone dies as a result, and you can just defray all responsibility when you're the one who physically did it. We're going to walk down that path in a little bit as well. Got to ask you what you're doing for lunch today. Zealand Street Market is here for you. Miss Stephanie is ready to roll today. I'm not going to be able to get over to Zealand Street today. I wish I could because the pecan smoked brisket, you know it's the most underrated brisket in town. Mama's pot roast, equally awesome as well. And the sides, you know how she does it. The food is fuel. You get your body through the day by putting the right things in your body, and she makes fresh vegetables. Makes them with love, brings out the flavor of the vegetables. You're not getting that canned stuff. You're not getting it buried in 100 other preservatives and other ingredients. It's just the vegetables the way that they were meant to be tasted over at Zealand Street Market. And time is of the essence when it comes to lunch, and she takes care of that as well, making sure you're fed in a promptly manner. You're getting a delicious meal. You're going to get a wonderful experience. Corner of Zealand and Perkins in the Garden District.
I was so fired up at breakfast this morning. I think Brad Bourgeois thought I was going to have a stroke talking about this.
Is that why my text keeps going off?
Yes.
Okay.
Wolf and I were going at it, and after we were going at it, I looked at him and I said, and you're absolutely right. So here's the crazy thing. If you deal with firearms, if you're proficient and deal with firearms on a regular basis, the two things you're going to hear is, number one, you never point a firearm at somebody, right? Number
Which he
two,
told interrogators he did not.
right. And number two, which, well, okay, he may not have intended to point the firearm at somebody. And then the other secondary one is you always check the chamber to see if there's one in the chamber, right? Whenever someone hands it to you, you open it up, you make sure there's nothing. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And that should be as cut and dry as it is. I don't care if it's a master armorer, the director of the movie, or your own father handing you the gun. You check the chamber. There's a level of responsibility here that cannot be passed off.
I think he's going to walk.
Of course,
I think he's going to get some fantastic lawyers, maybe even Franz Borchardt. His legal team hasn't called me yet. His legal team hasn't called me yet to get on board, but
Galen has a good point. He said maybe the prosecution's not basing the charge on the actual firing of the pistol, but more on the unsafe nature of the set, which was well documented.
that would be a better argument for the prosecution.
The unsafe nature of the set is not Alec Baldwin's fault, though.
Well,
he was a
they're going to say that he was the producer, but honestly, again, the problem with Galen's thought on that one is the fallback position for the defense is going to be the set may have been unsafe, but Alec Baldwin was handed a firearm by a master armorer.
Yeah.
Like what?
You keep saying that like it means something.
The master armorer is the gun expert on set. That's why that's so relevant. Alec Baldwin is an actor. Gross negligence standard is a gross deviation of normal standard of care. Alec Baldwin's defense is going to be, dude, the gun expert handed it to me and said you're good to go.
That shirking of responsibility.
We shouldn't give a gun to someone who's staunchly anti-gun.
Do what?
This is all about
guns. He doesn't know anything about guns. Like, he's like, ban all guns.
Ew, I can't touch it. I'm liberal.
Like, he's like, ban all guns or whatever. And it's like, why are we giving someone who is uneducated on guns a gun to fire at a camera?
Okay, so that's also not Alec Baldwin's fault.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
I don't think that's Alec Baldwin's fault. I think
at the end of the day,
producers.
At the end of the day, a man pointed a gun and pulled the trigger, and someone is dead because of it.
Yes, that would be criminal in all instances. Could that just be an accident? Could it just be an accident? And I know you're about to say, "Well, it's pulling a gun and pull the trigger." No, it's a Hollywood set. It is.
No, it is a real gun. It's not a fake gun. It's not a prop. It's a real gun with a real bullet and a real dead woman.
God,
if you want to say we're going to be playing Fantasyland Hollywood, you can't get past the fact that she's actually dead because the gun was freaking real.
Who's going to have a heart attack first, Franz or Brian?
I'm good to go. 5-hour intake.
Dude, I'm like, what the hell, bro? Y'all are giving me
I'm all
anxiety.
jacked up on Mountain Dew.
All jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Hey, I've got a quick interview right after
I said
the show's
9:30.
over. Okay.
I said 9:30. I'm just going to go downstairs and grab everybody.
All right. That's one of the Bloomberg.
This is why you like spider monkey.
That's the best line. That's the best line in the entire movie.
What, kid?
I'm all jacked up on Mountain
We're
Dew.
going to try and squeeze 10 more minutes into a 4-minute segment.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Is there a car hanging out the side of the interstate today?
I don't know.
Not been listening.
WBRZ hasn't posted anything about
I've
it.
not heard one.
Shocker.
I got the alert. It was like some car was off the side of the railing or something.
Shit.
Galen does pose a good question. What the heck are live rounds doing on a movie set?
Is it on I-10 West?
110.
No. I'm seeing accident on I-10 West.
You can see into the street.
To quote Tom Cruise,
Like,
he's so glam.
Yeah, it says so
Alec
on
Baldwin
here.
is so glam.
so are we just prosecuting him just because he's a D-bag?
Because
No,
he's Alec
I would-
Baldwin.
I would
because he's Alec Baldwin.
I would prosecute him because he pointed a gun at somebody and pulled the trigger.
Do you think he should, if he gets convicted, do you think he should go to jail? He's looking at 0 to 5 years. On this.
Years.
Yeah, he could be probated. Do you think he should go to jail if he were convicted?
Why would you? Okay.
Because that's the end game, right? If you convict him, you got to do
We're not
something
going
with
to have
him.
enough time to get through all of this, man. Because, no, I got a bigger point on that one, too.
Oh!
No. This goes back to the D-bag argument. He's Alec
Is
freaking
Alec Baldwin
Baldwin.
a D-bag?
He's untouchable. He's going to go back. He would, if you're Alec Baldwin and you don't go to jail for this,
Nobody,
what's the like?
nobody on this planet goes to jail for this except Alec Baldwin. He has probably no criminal record, and if he has a criminal record, this is a non-specific intent crime, which
No
means
one's
he didn't intend to do
well.
it. Which means it's not like we got to worry about him doing this again.
The Lee thing. Did somebody get charged in that?
I don't remember.
The Crow. Oh, because it wasn't Alec Baldwin, which goes back to your point. Is he a D-bag?
$8:55 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. 47 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Couple minutes to go here. Attorney Franz Borghardt in for a bonus legally served. All right, Franz, in our waning minutes, I've got to ask this. If you could point a gun and pull the trigger and be completely devoid of responsibility, why would that not carry over to every case forever?
Well, it carries over to self-defense cases. So it's not like every instance of you pointing a gun and
that
pulling the
was-
trigger is always going to be criminal culpability.
That was already there with self-defense cases.
Right.
Alec Baldwin was not being
Accidents-
attacked. Well, to be fair, I haven't
accidents-
read the script. I don't know if he was being attacked.
What's this? Do you think we're ever going to be able to watch Rust?
Rust? I don't know.
I'd buy the ticket for Rust now just because of all this stuff.
Right?
So here's the deal.
What does that say?
I'm dead inside. Here's the deal. It is involuntary manslaughter. I come back to this point because it's about the safety, right? It's about whether or not he acted grossly negligent or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a specific intent crime. And I have to remind people this because they want to make it into a specific intent crime. This is whether or not it was an accident, clearly a preventable accident, right?
1,000%.
Whose fault is it, though? Is it his fault? Is it the person who handed him the gun's fault? Is it both their fault? These are going to be questions for a jury, and a jury may say, you know what? There's reasonable doubt here. And that's all it takes, by the way. That's our system. Reasonable doubt.
No, I know. And Alec Baldwin's going to walk because he's Alec Baldwin.
Got
You
that
don't
big
touch-
money, baby.
You don't touch
Got that
Alec Baldwin.
Big money. He's going to get the LA
Don't-
attorneys, baby.
Don't you further embolden him to
Baldwin in him.
in Baldwin? Don't you further embolden his? Okay, we talked about his level of temperament before, right? He becomes a little bit more untouchable, and why would that
if
not
he gets
further?
acquitted, it's going to be like the next time y'all best bring kryptonite.
Exactly.
I am bulletproof. A jury may convict him. A jury
I
could
don't
convict
know.
him. You know, I wish we had more time. Let's talk about it Wednesday. Is if he gets convicted, should he go to jail or not?
So if he gets convicted and he doesn't go to jail, then same pattern there, or same result.
You mean we treat certain people differently in the justice system?
No, I'm
because
not
of who they are.
I'm not talking about that.
We don't do that, do we?
I'm talking. I know. You believe that people should be able to kill other people and get probation. I get that, but it's a matter of who it is this time.
Represents him. That seems about now I'm never going to get anybody who shoots my
The
probation.
way this plays out, I agree with you in the way I think it plays out. I don't think he's going to go to jail. I think once this goes to the courtroom, he's going to say Beetlejuice 3 times and a giant snake's going to jump through.
He was in that movie, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
That may be his best acting job ever.
Hunt for Red October.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Hunt for Red October.
Did he win an award for that one?
I don't know. The Donald Trump stuff on SNL was really good too.
I want to know
Underrated, the Tony Bennett impression.
I know we're running out of time, but
30 seconds.
Alondra, has Alec Baldwin ever won an Academy Award? Can you look that up for us when we?
The amount of time we have left.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because we got to get out of here. She's got to make sure we get out of here. He's attorney Franz Borchardt. If you missed any of this or wanted to check what was going on during the break, it'll be available on the Mornings with Brian Haldane YouTube page a little bit later on today. All the content from the show will be available on demand at talk1073.com as well. Thanks to Franz. Thanks to Richard Nelson for having some fun. Thanks to Congresswoman Julia Letlow, Haggai Davis with a cup of tech gumbo. And if you missed that John Stefanski interview, go check it out at talk1073.com. It was phenomenal as well. Moon Grifon's next. Y'all have a great weekend. Holy crap. All right, Facebook, I got to get, because we got an interview coming up like right now. He's supposed to be on the phone already. This Jack Wagon. No, he's not Jack Wagon. He's a good dude. Yeah.